OnePlus Pad Review, Best Mid-Range Android Tablet. Smooth software merged with well-optimized accessories makes for a premium Android tablet experience. OnePlus has long been known mainly for its smartphones in India. However, over the past 3 years or so, it has also introduced smart TVs, monitors, personal audio products, and smartwatches. The company also designs and sells its own smartphone accessories along with backpacks and other travel gear. At a recent event, the brand even announced its own mechanical keyboard which has yet to go on sale in India. Bragging rights aside, OnePlus is also known for its unique designs and well-optimized software. So, what happens when OnePlus makes a tablet? Let's find out. The OnePlus Pad is available in a single finish called Halo Green. Thankfully, there are some options when it comes to the configuration. There's the base model with 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage, priced at 37,999 rupees. The second variant with 12GB of RAM and 256GB of storage is available at 39,999 rupees. In my opinion, it makes sense to go for the top-end model. OnePlus smartphones have generally maintained a rounded design language, with the exception of perhaps the OnePlus 10R 5G. With the OnePlus Pad, the company has stuck with this same design philosophy and this helps it stand out when compared to any other tablet currently available in India. Its metal unibody design looks and feels very premium. The pad is incredibly thin at just 6.5 mm and will make any recent Apple iPad appear chunky in comparison. Despite its slim design, the tablet is quite sturdy with absolutely no flex or creaking sounds upon applying pressure. Even after using aluminium for its construction, the OnePlus Pad still feels quite heavy at 552 g when performing regular tasks, or when simply holding it with one hand for browsing. I often ended up sitting on the couch or laying it on a table when using it, especially with the keyboard accessory which is sold separately. The finely etched texture on the backside gives it a very unique look, but it also makes it a smudge magnet and these marks are very difficult to wipe off. Thankfully, there are two optional cover accessories, to keep that messy rear surface covered at all times. The sides of the OnePlus Pad are also rounded which makes it comfortable to hold, unlike most other tablets which have flat sides and flat corners that can poke into your hands. While the bottom, left and right sides are rounded, the middle area at the top is flat because that's where the magnetic connector for the OnePlus Stylo accessory resides. The three flat pins to power and use the keyboard accessory are at the bottom. While the edges of the tablet have been given a rounded treatment, the display glass is flat and is seamlessly integrated with the frame, making swipe gestures near the edges of the display a good experience. The display glass also gathers smudges, but these can be wiped off easily. The OnePlus magnetic keyboard accessory is available at 7,999 rupees in India. The quality is top-notch and it feels quite premium with a grippy faux leather texture on the front and rear panels. The keyboard connects and is powered via its 3 pins, so it needs to be physically connected to the tablet in order to function and cannot be used wirelessly as a Bluetooth keyboard. The keys on the magnetic keyboard have good travel for its type and also produce a nice tactile feedback, which makes for confident and mostly error-free typing. However, they are a bit stiff, so my hands did end up feeling fatigued after a few hours of typing. The keyboard layout is also quite compact, but I surprisingly got used to it almost instantly. The keyboard has a function key, which when combined with the number keys, can be used to trigger special functions such as navigation for the back, home, and recents functions or for adjusting the volume. There's also a command key which can trigger numerous predefined keyboard shortcuts like locking the screen, when combined with other keys. OnePlus has surely worked its magic when it comes to the keyboard experience. What I really like about it is that it has a minimal learning curve and most of the functions are easily identifiable as they are similar to the way Windows or Mac OS works. The trackpad was spot on, both in terms of sensitivity and function. Gestures worked beautifully once I turned off tap to click mode in the settings. The trackpad can be pressed down with little pressure, but it's just one large button, so it does not have a right or left click. I mainly ended up using it for selecting items or entering text fields. Selecting text has to be done using the shift and arrow keys, which is why this combination is better suited for light work. However, I wish there was at least a 1 cm gap between the top row of numbers keys and the tablet when mounted, as I did end up tapping the display accidentally when hitting the number keys. The OnePlus Stylo stylus, which is priced at 4,999 rupees in India, works as expected and charges quickly when placed on the magnetic area at the top edge of the tablet. However, it's not easy to find the perfect contact patch on the stylus itself when docking it, so there were times when it did not snap on perfectly and came off easily even with a slight tap. The OnePlus Pad has a MediaTek Dimensity 9000 SoC, which is usually seen on premium smartphones. My review unit came with 12 GB of LPDDR5 RAM and 256 GB of UFS 3.1 storage. The tablet does not have a SIM card slot, so there's no mobile data functionality or expandable storage either. Connectivity options include Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.3, and support for the usual satellite navigation systems. The tablet lacks cellular connectivity, but OnePlus makes hotspot data sharing easier with its cellular data sharing feature, which auto-connects the tablet to a OnePlus smartphone. For this to work, the tablet has to be between 1 to 5 meters away from a OnePlus smartphone. The tablet is powered by a 9,510 mAh battery, and OnePlus includes a 100W charger in the box. However, the charging rate is capped at 67W for the tablet. OnePlus has cut a few corners by ditching the 3.5mm headphone jack and not including a secure biometric mode for unlocking the tablet like a fingerprint sensor. The tablet can be unlocked using the standard PIN or by using face unlock via the front camera, which isn't the most secure but works reliably under good lighting. Despite lacking cellular connectivity, I was able to place voice and video calls via WhatsApp from the OnePlus Pad, and everything worked as expected, with the person on the other end being able to hear me clearly using the tablet's built-in mic. The selfie camera comes with OnePlus Limelight camera feature, and it worked quite well during video calls and was able to keep my face centered, provided I did not move to the extreme edges of the camera's frame. The OnePlus Pad runs Oxygen OS 13.1, which is based on Android 13, along with a few tablet-friendly customizations. These customizations come in the form of a dock at the bottom, which shows pinned apps and recently used apps much like one can find on an Apple iPad with iPadOS. A swipe up from the bottom reveals the app drawer. OnePlus has added a few software features which make Oxygen OS more useful on a bigger display. You can open one app in a resizable floating window and even two apps side by side by using the split window feature. This allows a total of 3 apps to be displayed at once. However, not all apps scale well when they resize to fit a floating window, and this also includes some of Google's own apps like Drive, Docs, Sheets, and more. Indeed, this seems to be a bug and hopefully will be resolved in a future update. The OnePlus Pad has a 11.61-inch LCD display with a resolution of 2800 x 2000 pixels. The display is quite bright at around 500 nits, which is good enough to be viewed outdoors and under direct sunlight. Viewing angles are also quite good, but showcase slightly saturated colors at the default vivid color profile. Blacks are quite good, even though they cannot match up to an AMOLED panel. The tablet's display is Dolby Vision certified and content appears as expected on Netflix and YouTube. Accompanying that display is the quad speaker setup, which gets loud and sounds immersive thanks to Dolby Atmos support. What sets this display apart from the rest of the competition is its aspect ratio. OnePlus has gone for a rather odd 7:5 aspect ratio with the Pad's display. While I agree that it manages to deliver a bit more vertical screen space for browsing web pages or Excel sheets, I did find the layout a bit squished when viewing two apps side by side or in split view. This is more so, because the display's scaling has only two options, standard and small, with no setting higher than small, which would let me view even more content in the same screen space. The LCD panel on the OnePlus Pad offers a 144 Hz refresh variable refresh rate and can switch between 30 Hz, 60 Hz, 90 Hz, 120 Hz, and 144 Hz when needed. During the review period I did notice that the 144 Hz refresh rate is only available in certain apps such as Chrome, which have been whitelisted by OnePlus. Even when using the interface or browsing the home screen, the display automatically switches between 60 Hz, when idle, and 120 Hz, when in use, most of the time. Most games, including some casual titles, that actually support high refresh rate displays, were capped at 60 Hz, with only some such as Call of Duty Mobile which allowed to utilize 90 Hz refresh rate when using the ultra frame rate setting. I didn't notice the screen drop to 30 Hz in my testing, and neither is it fully utilizing its 144 Hz capability most of the time. The SoC in the OnePlus Pad performs as expected, managing 8,29,370 points in Antutu V10. In terms of graphics, the tablet managed 32 FPS, 55 FPS, and 60 FPS in Spence's Car Chase, Manhattan 3.1 and T-Rex test suites respectively. Overall gaming performance is quite good. The tablet did get warm when playing Call of Duty Mobile at very high graphics and frame rate settings, but did not get hot even after gaming for 30 minutes at a stretch. Asphalt 9 Legends appeared almost console-like in terms of graphics with buttery smooth frame rates, as the device also supported the 60 FPS mode. What I did find a bit insufficient was the 120 Hz/144 Hz touch sampling rate when playing Call of Duty Mobile, as it just wasn't quick enough despite tweaking its sensitivity using its built-in gaming tools. Apart from the severe lack of tablet-optimized apps on the Google Play Store, the OnePlus Pad manages to do a really good job at handling apps that are mainly stretched-out versions of smartphones' apps. Sadly, there are some official apps from Instagram and Reddit which still refuse to run or support a horizontal layout, despite being available for tablets. As for software performance, the 12 GB of RAM is more than sufficient to handle the multitasking capabilities and widgets, along with keeping app pairs and floating windows in RAM for a long time. In terms of bloatware, OnePlus has kept it under control by including only the Netflix and WPS Office apps, both of which are useful but can also be uninstalled. Image quality from the OnePlus Pad's 13-megapixel rear camera is decent at best. While colors appear mostly natural, resolved detail is quite low, even with objects closer to the camera. The 8-megapixel front-facing camera is not the best when shooting selfies, as the details are on the lower side and the images often have a dreamlike, HDR effect. Still, image quality in low light using auto mode was below average and passable when using night mode because they showcased a noticeable watercolor-like effect with flat textures. The rear camera is capable of recording video at 4K 30 FPS and it appeared sharp with good dynamic range and details, but was quite shaky. 1080p 30 FPS video utilizes electronic stabilization for reducing handshakes but appears a bit soft with less detail. Low-light video quality isn't good with plenty of noise and softer textures. The OnePlus Pad's battery life is quite good and lasts over 2 days with regular casual use. My usage mainly included playing casual games and streaming video, scrolling through social media apps and 2 email accounts in sync. It seems quite good for a regular-sized tablet, which is the Slim. Our HD video loop test also managed a good 18 hours and 10 minutes of runtime, which is impressive for a slim tablet. I also used the tablet in proper work mode, doing everything I would normally do on my laptop. With the display set to 50% brightness and a timeout of 5 minutes, it surprisingly managed to last 2 whole work days, about 9 hours each, which was pretty impressive. Charging the OnePlus Pad was also quite fast despite the capped charging speeds. The tablet managed to charge to 47% in 30 minutes, 85% in an hour, and completed the charge in an hour and 29 minutes. Until Google's Pixel tablet arrives in India, if it ever does, the OnePlus Pad might be the best Android tablet experience you can currently get. This is especially true when you consider its high refresh rate display, fast charging capability and quality accessories, which are offered at reasonable prices. At a starting price of 37,999 rupees, I did find it to be a bit expensive when it was announced, but after using it, I think there's plenty of raw performance available that should be good enough for light work or casual use, and it all comes in a package that's easily lighter than most laptops at this price point. OnePlus has also done its magic with software, balancing sustained performance with features such as split-screen mode and floating windows, all of which work as expected thanks to the capable hardware which powers this device. In short, there's very little to nitpick and complain about, unless you crave an AMOLED panel, for which you can take a look at Lenovo's P11 Pro Gen 2, which is similar to the P11 Pro we reviewed earlier. It's priced at 44,999 rupees, but does not offer the same software experience as the OnePlus Pad. On the Apple side of things, there's the new Apple iPad 2022 review, which starts from 44,900 rupees for the Wi-Fi only model, but you will be stuck with an standard refresh rate display and just 64 GB of storage, as only other variant costs 59,900 rupees, for 256 GB. Those looking for cellular connectivity or a robust app ecosystem with tablet-friendly apps will also find the Apple iPad an attractive option. However, accessories for it aren't cheap, especially if you